On this edition of Coming Attractions, Street Fighter, Supergirl, and Hollywood studio drama. All these headlines and more. Stay tuned. Welcome to Coming Attractions, and I am your host, Arturo Padilla, and with me always is Mr. Nick Valdez. Tex, what do we have for the buddies out there today?
Oh man, howdy everybody, howdy Arturo. Let's just jump right into it with we got so much news going on this week or this edition, and let's start out with Street Fighter. All right, we got the first trailer for Street Fighter, and yeah, they showed it off during the Game Awards, but man, I am of two minds of this, right? I am,
Tex.
yeah, okay, because Street Fighter, it's not exactly like you don't play the game for the story, right? You're not there hoping for like cinematic achievements. It's not like you're not playing you're not playing like The Last of Us or Uncharted or something, right? You're playing Street Fighter. You're there Ryu is a dude who like goes around beats people up, and it's like, oh, and there's some kind of tournament where people fight in the streets, right? And that's pretty much it. And
Yeah.
and looking at the classic Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, it's kind of the same. We're like, yo, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen, right? It's like, because it's corny, it's cheesy, but also it's like, yeah, it was just like, yo, came out in perfect time, and we all loved it. And so this version, it's in that realm again, but it's got a lot of cheese. It's got this wild cast with it. You've got
Yeah.
You got Roman Reigns, WWE
The
superstar.
big dog.
They shout outs to him for like doing Dwayne the Rock Johnson kind of level things of like Joe Roman Reigns Anoa'i. He's going like that's gonna be his official movie name from now on. So like shout outs to him. He got his mentorship from his cousin in that sense to like, okay, get the WWE branding in there, but also, yeah, you're going to be an actor. And then you have Cody Rhodes, WWE superstar Cody Rhodes as Guile, and then you've got other notable stars in there, you've got 50 Cent it's like Balrog, and it's like, yo, you have like the full haircut like that he has in the games, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Dude, you have freaking David Desmalchian as M. Bison, which is
yo,
crazy. Like
that's
this
a wild pull.
cast is like crazy, but
Yeah,
like it definitely is anchored by these WWE superstars though.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's you looking at it, and it's like, yeah, you don't know how much everyone's going to be involved. It's one of those things too, right? Where it's like Street Fighter is a big cast, and we're probably going to see a lot of fights. And in the trailer itself, you get a couple of them, but
Yeah.
also I am like in terms of the movie brain side of me, like I'm gonna watch, I'm gonna have fun. It's gonna be cheesy, it's gonna be campy, right? But
Yes.
also, it's like, is it going to be good, right? And that's the thing,
Yeah.
right? There's only so far cheese can take
I
you, right?
mean, like this is true.
Yeah,
And is only we only did just get a teaser, right? So we
yeah,
definitely expect to see a little bit more in the trailer as to what kind of narrative they're trying to go
right.
here. But in the teaser, we saw a lot of details that come straight from the video game, including like that car beat up sequence where where they have to beat up the car in a certain amount of time. So that's in the
Yeah,
teaser trailer, which is like insane because you're like, wow. So that alone signifies the direction they want to
yeah,
take this thing, which is just like, hey, this is like gonna be straight up for the fans, like straight up Street Fighter. This is no Jean-Claude Van Damme, Raul Julia
yeah,
vehicle here.
yeah. You're 1,000% right. Like it's straight up goof troop, but at the same time, it is faithful, right? And it's like, is it going to be faithful to its detriment, or is it going to be so faithful that like they find that perfect tone, right? And
Yeah,
that is going to be the challenge, because that's the thing, we're not hearing anybody speak yet, right? Like it's
correct.
like, oh, we're not hearing lines, we're not
Yeah,
hearing any of that
it's
yet,
pretty
right?
much just a highlight reel that you just saw in that
Yes,
teaser.
which
But
is
all
perfect way
that
to
said
do it,
though,
right?
yes, but Tex, question though. we have an example of a fighting game movie already out in the works. We're getting a sequel as well coming up next year. And that's Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat, in terms of what we saw in part one, definitely took a lot of liberties in terms of what it did with
Yeah,
the characters and how, you know, they get their powers and all this stuff. This one seems very faithful to the Street Fighter lore in terms of look, in terms of colors that pop. It just seems like they might have something special here. But you're right though. Like, is it going to be watchable? All right. Because
yes,
yeah, we have Cody Rhodes here. We watch him every week, right? We have Roman Reigns, we have 50 Cent, but then like you put all that in a, you know, a nice big pot and call it Street Fighter. But I don't know. I
yeah,
honestly don't know what to feel. I just because they just threw action upon action upon action at
yes,
you, and you're like, whoa.
and that is the thing, right? Like, is it going to be memes, right? Like, is it coming out to be jokes and to be like, oh, to be memed on and to like live on the internet in that kind of way, right? Like, is it
Yeah.
appealing to gamers in that sense of like, oh, they know gamers are online, and if it's a bad movie, quote unquote, like if it tries to be intentionally bad, people are going to talk about it online and keep it going that way, right? And if there are moments where it's unintentionally bad, people are going to turn those into memes and it's going to live like, is it going for that crowd or is it trying to be like, is it a Minecraft movie? Because the
Yeah.
Minecraft movie did the meme thing, right? And it worked. Like the kids loved it, so it did what it was supposed to do. Like
Yeah.
it came out for the brain rot generation, and they loved it, right? And it's like, yo,
Yeah,
and
that
it's
chicken jockey scene got everybody all worked up, man.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like Street Fighter can do that because Minecraft was fine, right? And that's the thing, right?
Yes.
It's we could have Minecraft movie where it's fine, or we could have Five Nights at Freddy's 2 where you're so faithful to the games itself, and you're like, yes, this is the worst movie I've ever seen, and like it's this is where Street Fighter is, where I'm worried because it looks fun. It looks stupid in that good way. And I'm hoping the fights come through because that's the thing. Like the guy they have playing Ryu, he's dope. I forget. I think it's like Andrew Koji, something like that. Forgive me, everybody. But he was in that show Warrior, based on the Bruce Lee
Oh,
books.
that's why he looks familiar.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay,
and
cool.
he's dope in that show, and also he can pull it off. So like you see him as Ryu, and it's like, oh, okay, so he's gonna do like he's gonna be great, right? Like,
Yeah.
and you have Cody Rhodes, and that's the thing too. You have Cody and Roman, two people who are also really good at making things look good, right? And making stunts and doing fights and
And
faking
acting
those.
too, like
Yes,
knowing how to like kick in the emotions when it comes to like pain and you know and dishing out
yeah,
pain and all that other stuff. So
yes, like
um
yeah, like I'm curious. We will see how it goes. Like it's just kind
yeah,
of like
it's it's just but you are right though. Like because of the nature of the game, right? It's
yeah,
not a
yeah,
Resident Evil game where there's an actual story that takes you
yes.
from point A to point B and C. This is a fighting game where like the you know the story mode is you picking a character and just fighting 10 other people until
And
the very end, you know?
yeah, and then at the end when you beat M Bison, it says, "Oh, Ryu goes off into the sunset to
Yeah,
fight more people." Right? He's
that's
like,
it.
"Oh, to
Yeah.
fight another day." And there's the story, right? Like you're in the arcade, you have enough quarters, and you survive long enough. You see Ryu walking off and being like, "Okay, he's there's the end of the story," right? And that's you're 100% right, Arturo. Like where Mortal Kombat kind of messed up is that there is a story for Mortal Kombat. There is a thing
Yes.
set there. There's a whole out like, and then it took that very seriously to the point where
A
like,
little
yo,
too seriously.
you're missing you're missing they were missing the fun of what made that first Mortal Kombat movie so fun because it's like, yeah, it took all that seriously, but it was goofy, right? And
Mhm.
it's like, yo, like, and RP Shang Tsung, first of all, but like,
Yeah.
like it's this is where we're at with Street Fighter, but we're gonna see whether or not it pulls off. It's coming out in October, which is like such a weird window for it too, right? Like
Well, is it Mortal Kombat coming out in November?
yeah, and that's if
Right?
that's the case, yeah, if these release dates hold the way they
Oh,
are, that's gonna be a weird fall. Like and it's tough too because this looks like a perfect summer movie, right? It looks perfect summer blockbuster, stupid stuff that you watch and maybe forget. But we'll
Unless
see.
they know what they have in their hands, right? Unless they know it's like,
Right.
hey, this cannot compete against Doomsday,
yo,
right?
yo, that's the thing, right? Like the fall is going to be stacked with a lot of stuff, and
Yeah,
let's see if
Marvel's
Street
gonna
Fighter's one
control
of
the
it.
summer, right? Pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah, and
Like,
I mean, here comes a new challenger, right? So we'll see how it works out. Speaking of the summer, that's kind of where we got to get to the big guns, right? Like the literal, like, this
the
is,
literal big guns here, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we got the first trailer for Supergirl, and man, I definitely want to know your thoughts on this, Arturo. But setting the table,
Mhm.
Supergirl is the first one not directed by James Gunn in this universe. So like, it's not only the first like DC project that he's not a like that's within this universe. This is going to be the test, right? Like
Yeah.
this is going to be the test of whether or not that people can take this universe and expand it, right? And it's written by Anna Nagita, directed by Craig Gillespie, and I've heard nothing but good things since during its development from people who are in the know and people who like have been paying attention to like the DC stuff.
Mhm.
And this apparently is inspired by a comic, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. So
Okay.
like like, and apparently that's been hailed as like, I'm not a comic, like a full comics expert or anything, but like I've been hearing that one's been hailed as like a really good Supergirl story on top of that. So, but seeing this trailer here, how are you feeling about it, Arturo? What are your
Um,
thoughts?
I'm totally digging it, man. It's a complete vibe shift from Superman, from James Gunn's Superman.
Right.
Vibe shift, tonal shift. We get a quick glimpse of Lobo. We get a nice little, cigar pull in the shadows there. But I'm really liking the way this movie looks. The CG looks really good. So they're definitely
Yeah.
putting the money where it belongs. I am curious to see what Millie Alcock can do as Supergirl because I've never seen House of Dragons, so I'm not aware of her talents or anything like that. So I
Right.
really am hoping she kind of captivates and, brings us in because this is one of the most important pieces in the James Gunn universe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yes, he's not directing it, but the fact that we have a character that came from the James Gunn movie itself, now with a whole different writing team and directorial team, it's going to prove what this DC Studios can do because
Yeah.
not everybody can James Gunn can't be everywhere. You know what I mean?
That's
So,
true.
like Marvel did, like they had somebody overseeing everything, which in DC right now, it's going to be James Gunn. So let's see if his oversight and his supervision still has some kind of influence in terms of how this movie ends up. But I am really enjoying how this trailer ended up. I can't wait to see the actual story trailer to see what's going on here. But it looks good, man. It looks good. I'm really impressed with it so far.
Yeah, I'm also curious because that's the thing with Gunn, right? Like, yeah, he is a Feige, he is a Kevin Feige adjacent in terms of like mapping out where this universe is going to go in terms of its releases. But he's also made the distinct stance of being creator driven first, right? Like he has been on record multiple times of like he saying like, yeah, he might have an authority movie like planned from the jump or whatever, but it never like it's obviously not happening anytime soon
Yeah.
because they haven't cracked it yet, right? And that's the thing. Like we're getting a Clayface movie, we're getting
Hmm.
this Supergirl movie, we're getting projects from scripts that he loved and from creators that he appreciated
Yes.
and then let them do what they're gonna do, like just with the Supergirl team, right? Like he got the script from Anna Nagita and was like, "Yo, he loved it so much they greenlit it." And now
Mhm.
Craig Gillespie took it to the next level. So that's the thing. Like we're gonna see what a James Gunn leading universe looks like, and that's the thing too, right? It's like, are they how similar are they going to be to one another? How similar is this going to be to Superman? How close is it going to be to the new Lanterns show coming
Yeah.
out? Like how is it going to be to when we eventually get like the Injustice Gang? And And what you brought up, Arturo, is very important. Of like how is a character that we saw in Superman going to be on their own and in this new context? Because we have Supergirl. Are they going to bring in other characters from Superman into this? Right? Like, are we going to see Superman himself? And if that's the case, how is he going to be handled by other people? Right? And that's the thing. Like with Marvel and Kevin Feige and all that, the thing about Marvel is like, yes, the negative is that they're all like they're very homogenized, they're very like kind of all the same when you boil
Yeah,
down
it's a
to it.
machine over there. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get directors and actors giving things their own flavor and color, but ultimately they're going to go to the same place and be the same thing, go the same route, right? But with Gunn, if he really wants to stand out and really wants to make the DC projects stand out, like how different are they going to be from one another,
Yeah.
yet still have that connection, right? And that is going to be a thing on top of whether or not this is going to be a good movie. That all that universal stuff is going to be in question, and that is going to be make this a very interesting watch on top of like just seeming fun. Like that's the thing, right? Like like you were saying, this teaser has such a distinct different tone from Superman because it looks like fun and kind of like, even though like the joke in Superman, he was saying that like being nice is punk rock basically, like this is kind of like, oh no, this is the real like teenage angst punk rock
Yeah.
kind of story. And what you were saying about Millie Alcock, like I've never seen House of Dragons either, but apparently she was good enough in there for James Gunn to take notice of her and
Yeah.
to bring her into the fold. So like, um, there's lots of reasons to be excited about it. There's lots of reasons to be curious.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
just like with Street Fighter, actually. Funny enough, right? Like,
I know. And also, like, on top of that, too, like, I am hoping that, like a good comic book brand, right? You have different writers and artists jumping in and out of the brand and the titles to tell a story,
yes,
to tell one arc. So I hope that's what we're going to have here in DC, where these characters are mingling, right? And
yes,
other artists and creators have the ability to use Coring Sweat as Superman for a scene or two, because in comic books, that's what happens, right? Like
yeah,
you get a Superman sighting or even a Batman sighting once in a while, like because the universe is established already in the comic books, like it is in James Gunn's universe, right? 300 years worth of metahumans already, right?
yeah,
So I am hoping that they don't get shy because I know Marvel did that. They got super gun shy with no pun intended. They got super gun shy with putting the top names in these movies for an impactful sequence, not just a post credit. So
yeah,
I do hope they find a way to kind of work like an actual comic book does, where you have these arcs that tell a story and then ultimately connect to the greater universe.
yeah, and the worry and not to worry about handing these characters and actors off to other people and like, oh, they're gonna stink with them, like that's also the comics thing too of like, yo,
Hmm.
they allow, like you said, they allow other creators to experiment all the time with
Yes.
ideas and stories and to do their own take. And that seems to be James Gunn's plan so far of just like letting people do what they want, but yet like still connect them in some way. And that's the thing, like I think what is going to help Supergirl is that it already kind of seems like it's its own thing too on top of
Yes.
that, right? Like it's so different from Superman that I'm not going in expecting it to be a Superman 1.5 or whatever,
Hmm.
right? Like I'm going in to see a
Great point.
Supergirl movie,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
And that's the thing, like, and if it connects, cool, right? Like, but I'm also, it's once again, it's not Marvel, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we're not watching these things going, I'm not watching like I was watching Fantastic Four going, oh, how is this going to connect to
How it's
Thunderbolts
gonna
and the
connect,
Doomsday?
right?
Like,
Yeah, I know. This is
but
like again, I go back to this analogy because like it just works. It's like going into the comic book shop, right?
yes,
And
yes,
picking up a Supergirl comic because that's what you want to read, right? The new Supergirl issue is out and you want to read it. This is what it should be when it comes to this stuff. So Gunn, I think Gunn and Saffron they have a map there. I don't know what it looks like, Tex, but I it seems like they're being very smart with their moves and what to greenlight and what to put out there in terms of news and spoilers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They definitely learned a lot working with Fahey in the Marvel machine. And I think they learned from their mistakes and they're taking that experience and
Yeah.
making it even better for the creators and the artists under this new DC Studios.
Yeah, because they don't want people to burn out like people are with
Exactly.
Marvel, right?
Mhm.
Marvel had to make another Avengers movie to get you guys in theaters, right? Like
They had to
they
bring back Robert Downey Jr.
yeah, as Doctor Doom, right? They had
Yeah,
to go for a twofer because
yeah.
the Kang stuff didn't work out. Like,
Oh,
and that's the thing too. Like,
R.I.P. Kang.
yeah, and even then, like even before the Jonathan Majors whatever happened, like even before all that, like was Kang even going to be like that compel like in retrospect, right? Like
Yeah,
when you look at
great
the
point.
map, right? When you look at the map, like and what they wanted to do with Kang and put him in every movie, even then would we have liked that? Who knows? And that goes to more of that interconnectivity and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, with like you were saying with this gun stuff, maybe the idea is yes, they're connected, but also not necessary, right? Like
Mhm.
it's only going to be necessary when it's necessary. Like Man of Tomorrow is going to be a direct sequel to Superman, so like you're the only necessary film you're going to have to see is Superman,
Mhm.
regardless of whatever happens in between. Whatever happens in Supergirl, it might or might not matter to Man of Tomorrow, but like also it's not homework, right? And I think
No,
this, yeah,
but though, I think Gunn will sprinkle in some information from other projects in there, like, that way people will be like, "Oh, wait a minute, I gotta go see what's going on in Lanterns.
yeah,
I
right,
gotta go
like
see what happened in Supergirl."
yes,
If they're all coming back in 2027 for Man of Tomorrow, right?
yeah,
They are gonna get a lot of info in that movie if they haven't been caught up. We got Peacemaker stuff we spoke about here as well on the Morgue, right?
yeah,
We have Lanterns coming up. We have Clayface, as you mentioned, Supergirl. So we have all these characters that are going to be out by 2027. So I am very curious what they do with Man of Tomorrow. Are they going to insert Supergirl into Man of Tomorrow
yeah,
in some way? You know what I mean? Or a Lantern or a Hawk Girl or who
or
knows? You know what I mean?
or who knows, or maybe none at all, or
Yeah.
maybe like brand new characters, right? Like, and that's the thing, like that's part of being a comic universe is that like they can do whatever they want, and without the only thing that's going to hold it back is like contracts and stuff like that. Like Marvel, they had to wait forever to bring back RDJ after death because
Yeah.
it's like, yo, that dude is like, we're paying you $100 million to like to
Yeah, they
be in
are.
this movie and to save us, right? And oh, we're gonna do 4 different trailers for Avengers Doomsday, and just so you go see Avatar 4 times, and and then see the full Doomsday teaser, and it's like, it feels really desperate, and it's so funny seeing all this with DC like blowing up at just the right time. But what ultimately may like may bring all this to a screeching halt, Arturo, is kind of like the big thing we have to talk about a little bit.
Yeah.
So Warner Brothers has been in the midst of a sale, and to sell, there's a lot of layering factors, a lot that we won't get into here because it's a lot of there's a lot of legal stuff, there's a lot of business stuff, there's a lot of like antitrust stuff like
Yeah,
happening here
a lot
too.
of jargon that
Yes,
we don't want to talk about.
yes, and that's the thing too, because then it gets like once you start talking about the news side of what Warner Brothers owns, it gets like it gets very political, and
Yeah,
we're not that kind of show. But that's also
no.
something we just have to acknowledge that's on the table with this sale. And there's also the fact that they might split the company, all sorts of stuff going on
Yeah.
with Warner Brothers. But what's important here is that first Netflix won the bid for Warner Brothers and to get access to Warner Brothers entire their film TV library, their
Mhm.
properties, which includes stuff like DC Studios, which we've been talking about, which includes stuff like their video games and all that stuff. And there's some concerns with Netflix buying it already because they're, just before even getting into the other half of the equation here, right? The other half of the conversation,
Yeah.
the Netflix part of it, Arturo, it's like Netflix, Ted Sarandos was already saying that, they they're probably going to shorten theatrical release windows for their films, because the way they see it, it's like, oh, people want to stay home and stream the movies,
Yeah,
which is like it's
that's
complicated. Yeah.
that's where this all is kind of coming to a head, right? Theatrical
Yes.
release windows. Like that's honestly the bottom line to this Netflix ordeal. Aside from the Paramount money stuff that I'll talk about in a little bit, the Netflix stuff really revolves around a theatrical release window. If you guys are not
Yes.
familiar, the theatrical release window before the pandemic was something like 75 days to
Yeah.
90 days in theaters before it even hit a streaming platform. After the pandemic, it got shortened down to about 45 days. Um, and shorter then for
And short. Yeah, and
yeah,
shorter and shorter
but
depending on how
yeah,
well a movie did in
exactly,
theaters,
depending
right?
on the project and depending on the movie or whatever. But now with this Netflix and Warner thing, like Netflix, they don't care about theaters.
They
Like
don't.
I'm saying that in the nicest way possible because
Yeah.
their business model isn't about theaters. It's not. It has nothing to do with the bottom line of an owner who owns a movie theater trying to figure out how his concessions can, make him a profit. They don't care
Right.
about that. Their platform is streaming, and their main concern and main kind of focus in this whole purchase was that HBO Max catalog and the Warner Brothers movie studios.
Yeah.
That will put Netflix into a whole new tier with the movie studios. Yes, the catalog is fantastic. DC Studios, Harry Potter, The Wire, The Sopranos, all those HBO shows will be under Netflix and they can do whatever they want with it. The spin-offs,
Yeah.
prequels, sequels,
I know
all that
it
stuff,
start
right?
we're which is funny because like we're already getting like Soprano spin-offs and stuff under
Yeah.
HBO Max. So like
Yeah.
imagine once Netflix gets their hands on it, we already had a young Tony Soprano show, but like
Yeah.
I imagine like we're gonna get oh man, what's a good HBO show but to
We can
like
get uh like an Oz prequel or something, or
yeah.
or a 6 Feet Under spin-off where they follow, you know, uh, you
Oh
know,
man. Yo, and
Dexter to Dexter's
and
Adventures or something. I don't
and
know.
that's the thing, right? It's they wanted that massive catalog. They wanted
Yes,
the
it's huge.
studios, and there's a lot of stuff that goes along with that in terms of like the business, right? And we won't need to get into that here because that is a weighty conversation more than we can dish into right now because it's
Yeah.
still very much up in the air. And if they do get ownership of Warner Brothers, this also means like a huge kind of monopoly of movie making back to when this was back in the pre breakup days. This was back when like that
Yes,
hasn't like
but only a monopoly because of the amount of subscribers that Netflix has.
and that's
Not
also part of it too. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So like that is why they're calling this like a monopoly, just because of the sheer number of subscribers that watch Netflix and
Yeah.
subscribe to Netflix.
and
Uh,
and that
and
means less deals for creators, less options for a creator to pitch their thing to different studios, right? There's all sorts of stuff that goes into that. And on top of this, you have Paramount trying to like they've been trying to also buy Warner Brothers because
yeah,
I think they're more interested in the news side of things than they are for the Warner Brothers side. But on Paramount side of things, on their end, they are launching a hostile bid. We'll see however that works out. But on their end, they did say like on their plus side, quote unquote, however you want to take it, it's they did commit to releasing Warner Brothers movies in theaters, right? Like they're whatever's in.
yeah.
I think they said something like 40 movies a year in theaters,
Well,
which
yeah,
is
because
like
Paramount is still, working as a traditional Hollywood studio, so
right.
they will respect all that stuff,
Yeah,
which which ultimately is what Hollywood wants,
yes,
right?
which is funny too, Arturo. Not to mean to interrupt, but on
Mhm.
top of that, on the other side of Paramount, there are also reports that they are kind of toning down their releases and doing stuff that's like franchise heavy and sequel heavy and like really keying into that, like really keying into the pop culture stuff. Like this is why we're getting Sonic 4, and then that's why they also confirmed a Sonic Universe movie the year after.
I mean,
This is
honestly,
also
like they have enough, money in that franchise to just continue with that forever.
yeah.
As long
Well,
as Jim Carrey's down too, bro, you're good.
yeah, like just keep making them. We'll go see them. It's and they want to make like a new live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. They want to still make Transformers happen. However, that's going to happen. But no, it's funny hearing you say that because it's like, but you're right. But theater owners, they hear, oh, their commitment to theaters releasing, then
Yeah,
like they hear that, and that makes Paramount a plus for them. But there's also a whole host of reasons why Paramount owning Warner Brothers might not be so great on
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's for completely different reasons than Netflix might owning them, and that also might not be so great, right? This is a rough situation either way
yeah,
you slice it. And if Netflix, the path we're on now is like you said, Arturo, like the theatrical window is going to shorten even more. It's likely going to be, I don't think it's going to be that extreme, at least not yet, to where
yeah. Honestly,
like
though, text like just all this back and forth about the whole situation. Like what it boils down to, though, in reality, when it comes to us here at the morgue and our buddies
yes,
out there, right? This is a win for us. For
yeah,
Hollywood, it is a very messy situation, but for us, whether Paramount's the one that ends up with Warner Brothers or Netflix is the one, we are guaranteed more content. And that is really what matters to us here at the show. There is a lot of other mumbo jumbo, as Tech said, a lot of legal stuff that really goes into this. And we can talk about this for quite some time, just going back and forth with it, because it's just such there's a lot of detail in this, especially
yeah,
when you start breaking down the money. Just real quick, the main thing that Paramount is also kind of dangling out there is that, hey, shareholders, we're giving you more money for your stock. Netflix
yeah,
isn't increasing that at all. So they're
yeah, and
they're
that's
they're upping the money at all completely. As you guys see, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, which you should be, go like, subscribe, and share down below, please. Netflix only bid $82.7 billion, while Paramount gave them $108.4 billion. So
yeah,
there's a substantially lot more money there. And like Tech said, there's pros and cons to both of these entities owning Warner Brothers. For movie studios and theater owners, as Tex mentioned, Paramount is the thing. For us here at home, I think Warner Brothers going to Netflix, I think would be the right choice, especially with all that content they have. I
yeah,
feel that they can get creators to make new DC stuff like with Gunn and new like works with HBO. I feel there is an opportunity there, but all that said, there is also an opportunity to release garbage quality stuff
and
because you have the ability to do it. So
yeah,
that's
and
also a
that's
big concern. And
yes,
HBO, we all know HBO Max is one of the highest quality streaming services in terms of just actual output. Like it looks gorgeous when you watch it through a 4K
yeah, it
television, and the
yes,
content is great.
an HBO show is like even the weaker HBO shows are likely going to be better than the best
Yes.
Netflix shows. Like this is
Yes.
just hands down. Unfortunately, this is like the reality of the situation.
Mhm.
It's and like Arturo said, daily lives for the buddies at home and for everybody who watches, and for here at the morgue, like our daily lives are not going to be as impacted as those who make these things for these studios, and that is just a cold hard fact, unfortunately. Like if it means theatrical windows are shortened, you and like Arturo and I are people who go every week. We go see whatever movie's out and we talk about it here in the morgue. Maybe if you're listening or watching the morgue at home, maybe you hear us and you're like, oh yeah, I'll go check it out. And then you go check it out. Or maybe you've done it already, and then once you see it, that's it. Like you've done your one, and then you maybe go back the next week or something like that. But like people love going to the movies. That's the other thing too. Like that it still is like a preferred experience than watching at home.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times too, there are times where I'm like, I wish I got to see this at home. Like
Yeah.
we've said this a lot of the times at the
Yeah.
morgue of like we're like we review something and we're like, man, I bet this would have hit a lot harder on our couch.
Yeah,
Like
dude, I was just
it's
telling
yeah.
my wife too, like, when I was telling her about the whole Paramount Netflix thing, because she wanted, some clarification, I was telling her, I'm like, the amount of movies Tex and I review on the Morgue that are wait for it and stay away from it that we see in theater is a large percentage, and
Yeah.
that's very upsetting. So the quality of stuff, we spoke about it when we, spoke about, Del Toro's Frankenstein, right? A movie
Yeah.
that deserves theater quality screens is on Netflix, you know? So the quality of things will be different. You get a lot of garbage in theaters, you get a lot of garbage on streamers. Every once in a while, you have a gem, you have your Dunes, right? You have your Avatars, you
Yeah.
have your Frankenstein from Del Toro, you have your Stranger
And you know
Things,
what,
you know?
Arturo? I think that's a great point because I think like this is the hope. This is me just speaking as a fan and as a watching person. Like the hope is that when we get Dune 4 or whatever under Netflix, that they have the foresight to go ahead and release those in theaters, right?
Mhm.
I think we're going to get to a point where it,
Yes.
and this is kind of where theaters have been going since the pandemic
Mhm.
anyway. Like, you know, people love going to the movies and people will watch a movie. They just have to have a reason to want to go,
I
right?
mean,
And
just look
it's
at
a
Barbie and Oppenheimer, right?
yes, like a more recent example. Look at Zootopia 2. Zootopia 2
Yes.
made like a
I
hundred million
know.
already. I think it even cracked the billion if I might be speaking out of turn
It was
here.
huge in China, dude. China
Yeah,
loves Zootopia too.
and that's the thing, like people go to the movies when they want
When
to,
mhm.
when there's something worth going to the movies for, right? And
Yes.
that is ultimately going to be the big thing from now on, is like even regardless of whether or not we see the dun dun like before in theaters from now on, before Warner Brothers movies, like it it's just gotta be worth going to the movie theater for. That is one of our biggest things here at the morgue. This is one of the reasons why, like Arturo said, our review format is so based on the effort it takes you to leave your house and go to the theater, especially now, right?
Mhm.
Especially
Yep.
post pandemic, mid pandemic, however you want to classify our current time. And especially now when money is so tight for everyone that even if you're if you're paying the matinee price ticket, or you have a membership that you pay every month and you still go, or even if you decide to go without concessions, it's still gas, it's still time, it's still an investment
Yeah.
regardless. It's an investment of your life going to these things. And ultimately, I think, like Arturo said, you just we people want to go to theaters. We want to go to theaters, but at the same time, if it means releasing one movie in theaters, but then also that same week you can also watch Wake Up Dead Man on Netflix and then watch like the latest HBO like movie on Netflix, that's not the worst case
It's
scenario.
not. It really isn't, because then it also, just to wrap up this conversation and wrap up coming attractions, it will also entice subscribers to be like, hey, they have a lot more content now. They're
Yeah.
releasing a lot more stuff. I am willing to pay a little bit more for this. And this is ultimately what everyone wants, right?
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
want more
Like,
content, studios want more money. So as long as Tech said, as long as you make something good, people will watch it. And
yeah.
now with this, it will give more of these movies, these smaller titles, these smaller budget indie movies, an opportunity to either hit the theater or go right onto your streaming platform where you can watch it on a Friday and then be like, hey, you can recommend this to friends. Oh, I saw this great movie on Netflix over the weekend. You should watch it. And then that's how the word of mouth starts, and that's how things happen. And I think there's a chance for both situations to be successful, for the big movies to get out there, because I know Netflix is not going to want to mess with the DC studio side of stuff, because that's
Yeah.
bringing the money in, and I know that they're still going to want to tweak their streaming side. So I think we're in a position here as an audience and as viewers that we win, and
Yeah.
that's the most important part here, that we will win. We will see more news about this in the coming weeks, probably after the holidays when things settle a little bit.
Yeah, is because
Yeah,
that's the thing too. This is going to be like, especially with the Paramount stuff on top of it. This is going to take a long time, and this is even like before it even gets approved. Like we can be looking at years before this is like a thing. So in the interim, our daily lives are not going to change by much, but look, we might start to see little shifts, right? Like
yeah,
it, just wrapping like just one final comment, like theatrical windows, if it goes from 30 days to 2 weeks, that might be aggressive, but also like, go see the movie. Like that's also the
yeah.
thing, right? It's like, yo, if you
But
want to see it,
again,
go see it.
it all boils down to like this release window really boils down to how good is the movie. Not
Yeah,
everything is going to keep making the same amount of money as their opening week, right? So
yeah,
most of the movies will make the majority of their money, if not like all of it, like the first opening weekend, and then after that, it's just a downhill. Even all these superhero movies, they all track downwards after the first opening weekend, even after the first couple of weeks. This is why Netflix is like, okay, listen, we made the money we needed to. We made some profit. Let's bring it to streaming now and continue the ball rolling. Because then from there they can keep pushing it out. They can keep doing their whole Netflix thing. But folks, like I said, and like Tex mentioned as well, at the end of the day, we are all the winners in this crazy situation, which we will keep you guys informed as we get more news. Thank you so much for listening. I am your host, Arturo Padilla, and with me always is Mr. Nick Valdez. Do not forget to subscribe down below, hit the thumbs up, and hit that bell. A big shout out goes to Mr. Delvirus. Go check out his work. He's done all our artwork. And a big shout out goes to you guys for listening. Do not forget, these are all available anywhere you get your podcast streams. And lastly, folks, always remember it is a scary world out there, but we are here to walk you through it.